Hello, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Boy, do I have an interesting one for you today. Today's video is going to be a trip down my musical memory lane, starting in 1989. Your boy was born and didn't do really anything musical related at that point in time, so we'll fast forward a little bit. I was always around music. My parents were a couple of hippies. My mom was a music major. My dad was just, had long hair and loved rock and roll. So there was always music around. I don't ever really remember not playing music of some sort. There were always guitars and pianos and trombones around, and records. And so there was always music happening. A big part of my musical upbringing revolved around the church. My mom was the music director for our church, and because of that, I was in every choir, I was in every musical, I was in every play, I was in every puppet show, I was in the handbell choir, I was in the praise team, I was in, if it had music, I was in it. And that was the bulk of my musical experience until high school. In high school, I met one of my best friends, Cody, and he was looking for a guitar player. He was a drummer. He wanted to start a new band. So he was like, I'm looking for a guitar player. I was like, I play guitar. And we started a band called Blood White Rose. Bad name, fun band. The songs were so-so, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I ended up, shortly after that, 2006, we recorded this album. Here is what that music sounded like. Yeah, so there's that. 2008, the same band plus one other member, I think. We had been playing consistently. We wrote a new song and recorded a single with a company called Pendlewood Studios in Des Moines. That song sounds like this. So, better, right? We actually were offered some sort of record deal because of that single, and I ended up being the odd man out who turned it down and didn't want to commit to it because I don't know, I felt like it was too scary to quit my job and try to pursue music full time. That was in 2008. Shortly after that, I got married, and I didn't really do much in the way of music for a long time after that. 2012, I started working on a folk kind of album with my friend Chad. That music sounded like this. So that music was fun. Didn't really amount to much. Didn't end up doing anything with those songs. They just kind of exist in the ether now. Between 2012 and 2014, again, I didn't really do much in the way of music. I wrote some songs that I don't even know where they are now. They weren't very good. Didn't really play out much. Maybe, the odd coffee shop gig here and there, but I wasn't really involved in music at that point just because I was married, and it was just tricky to do to balance that with everything else. 2014, I was approached by a local church. They needed a music director, so I took on the role of music minister at a church, and that was how I made a part of my living for a couple of years, was playing music every week. I would play music at the church and put together a small, worship praise band with the church. And that was where pretty much all of my musical energy went for that period of time. In 2015, we got divorced, left the church, and then I decided that I was going to get back to making my music that I wanted to make, that I had wanted to make forever, and life just kept getting in the way. So starting in 2016, I started making my own music and writing again and going out to open mics and things, just trying to get my feet wet and get back into the live music scene around here. I did that for 2 or 3 years. By the time 2017, 2018 rolled around, I was consistently booking solo acoustic acts in the area. At that time, I was playing some shows in Quincy, Illinois, and I reached out to someone that I used to know in passing when I lived in Quincy, and I was like, hey, you play music, I'm playing music in Quincy on this date, you should come in and listen. And so she showed up, and after that show, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I used to play in like this acoustic duo, and my partner, I had to like split ways. Would you be interested in playing in an acoustic duo again? And I said yes. And so that became Levi and Jacqueline. That's the acoustic duo that you can find me playing in today. And that went really well. We work really well together. We sing really well together. We have a really good mesh as far as our voices and our style of music. And we played a lot. Our gigs, we played all over, the Midwest area. It was during this period of time that I started writing my own original music again in earnest. And in 2019, I released the Shoestring EP, which sounds like this. Goodbyes are the only forevers that last. And things were just really going well. Our bookings were just rolling in. We were getting offers to open for like big country acts and things like that. And then 2020 hit. Everything pretty much just stopped. We did a few couch concerts. We did like live streamed music and things like that. But everything stopped. All momentum really ground to a halt. 2020, for several reasons, really took the wind out of my sails creatively and just emotionally. 2020 through now basically has just been a long, slow grind of trying to get that momentum back to where it was pre-pandemic. Throughout that time, even though the gigs had dried up, music was still a part of my everyday life and creatively, my creative working process. In that, Jacqueline and I started a videography company and started filming a lot of weddings. We needed music for these videos, and because neither of us had really done wedding videography before, we didn't know the best way to go about getting, music that was okay to use in a video, like as far as copyright and license issues goes. So I just said, well, I'll just write some music. So I started writing music for these weddings. And I still do. I still write music for every one of our wedding videos that we do is music that I've written. I also wrote music like jingles for local businesses. I wrote a jingle for my friend Simply Serving. She runs an Etsy shop and a YouTube channel, which you should go check out if you haven't. I wrote some music for her channel. I wrote music for my friend Adam's channel, his Twitch channel. So I was still writing music and trying to be creatively productive. But I wasn't really writing much original music anymore for a lot of reasons, but for the main reason was I was just really busy. I had a regular boring desk job again. I was doing videography, and I didn't have much space to try to write my own music. That brings us to today, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I have recently quit my job and now I am just a full-time creative professional. And I just released a song called Nightmare, and it sounds like this. Even though it might be a nightmare, that's the only place it seems like you still cared enough to. And you can go listen to that on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. And that's where we're at. That brings us up to today. I have some other songs that I'm really excited to share with you guys in the near future. I have a new EP that I'm working on putting together. And so things are looking up musically. Things are looking up, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to share that with you. But mostly, this was fun. Like going back into time and just thinking about all the different music that I've worked on and seeing how I've grown and how my music has grown and changed. It was a lot of fun, and it's the first time I've ever really done that, and it's pretty fun to be able to share it with you. So that was my trip down memory lane. There are so many stories I could tell you about each one of these periods in my life, and about every song I wrote and all of that sort of thing. If that is something that you would like to hear, please let me know. Leave a comment. If there's a specific song or a period of my life that you want to hear stories about, I'd be willing to embarrass myself and tell these stories in another one of these videos. So let me know. In the meantime, as always, thank you so much for watching and for being here. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. That does help out a lot. And share this video to someone who might enjoy it. You're all the best, and I wish you all the best. Goodbye.
I'm not crying for help.